Happy Friday, everybody. Max here with your fix of gaming news. Coming up, Nintendo comments on its censorship of Dispatch, the live-action God of War series finds its Odin, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 is somehow still not canceled. Let's get into it. Following the revelation that hit superhero game Dispatch features enforced censorship on Switch platforms, Nintendo has responded to address the situation. Earlier this week, copies of the game's Switch version were discovered to have Dispatch's pre-existing visual censorship setting enabled by default, with no option to toggle it off as is seen on other platforms. Dispatch developer Ad Hoc Studio acknowledged the change in a statement that noted how different platforms have different content criteria, and that the company has worked with Nintendo to adapt certain elements so Dispatch could be on their platform. Now Nintendo itself has chimed in to try and explain the matter further. A Nintendo spokesperson told IGN, quote, "Nintendo requires all games on its platforms to receive ratings from independent organizations and to meet our established content and platform guidelines. While we inform partners when their titles don't meet our guidelines, Nintendo does not make changes to partner content. We also do not discuss specific content or the criteria used in making these determinations." In other words, yes, Nintendo does require content on Switch to meet certain requirements and will flag when it decides that a game has missed the mark. However, Nintendo does not change the game itself, meaning that the manner of how an issue might be remedied is entirely up to the developer. A workplace comedy game featuring superhero characters and adult humor, Dispatch features occasional scenes that depict full-frontal male and female nudity that players on other platforms have the ability to cover up. This setting censors breasts and genitalia with black boxes and even puts sex noises on mute. Characters giving each other the finger, as in, flipping the bird, are also obscured. Online, fans have discussed the situation at length and pointed to other examples of Switch games that feature nudity that Nintendo seemingly doesn't have an issue with, such as The Witcher 3. The situation is confused, however, by the existence of a specific Japanese version of Cyberpunk 2077 that removes nudity and decapitations, released separately from the game's standard version that is on Switch uncensored elsewhere. Fans have suggested a similar scenario could have impacted Dispatch, with the stricter Japanese ratings board Zero potentially taking a dislike to the game's contents. If that's the case, this could leave Dispatch's developer with a decision to make: create an entirely separate version of the game just for Japan, or do the presumably quicker and easier option of simply censoring it everywhere. However, bear in mind that is just speculation, and we will update you if we get further comment from either Nintendo or Ad Hoc. Moving on, casting for the live-action God of War series is in full swing, as just moments after announcing the actor for Thor, Amazon and Sony have confirmed that Mandy Patinkin will play Thor's father, Odin. It's another major addition to the cast of the next Prime Video game adaptation, confirming that many of the series' biggest roles have now been filled. Patinkin joins Olafur Darri Olafsson as Thor, as well as Ryan Hurst as Kratos. Odin is the ruler of Asgard and one of the most recognizable names in Norse mythology. While only his ravens played a part in God of War 2018, the Allfather had a prominent role in its sequel, God of War Ragnarok. The game sees both him and his God of Thunder son serving as the primary antagonists threatening Kratos and his son, Atreus, though it's unclear how large Odin's role will be in the live-action show. An official description for the character says, "Odin, the Allfather, is not physically imposing or particularly godlike, but looks can be deceiving. He is the most powerful Aesir god, a patriarch who leads with an iron fist, and an unrivaled seeker of knowledge. When it comes to seeking out prophecy, Odin is paranoid, manipulative, and dangerous. He will do anything to try and prevent Ragnarok, the Norse end of days. He serves as a formidable antagonist to Kratos." More recently, viewers may have caught Patinkin in shows like The Artist, Death and Other Details, Criminal Minds, and Homeland, and movie fans likely know him best as Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride. It seems like new actors are getting announced for the live-action God of War every 5 minutes, so stay tuned to IGN for more details. And finally today, Beyond Good and Evil 2 creative director Fauzi Mesmar has responded to Ubisoft's sweeping company reshuffle that resulted in the cancellation or delay of a swath of game projects, as well as studio closures and layoffs, including a further 200 job losses proposed at the company's Paris headquarters earlier this week. Writing on LinkedIn, the DICE veteran Mesmar assured fans of Ubisoft's forever in development Beyond Good and Evil 2 that the project had not been impacted in the restructure as had been previously expected. Still, the developer said he was saddened by the reorganization's effect on his colleagues across the wider company. With an on-again, off-again development stretching back almost 2 decades, Beyond Good and Evil 2 remains an ongoing project within Ubisoft led by its French team based in Montpellier. Mesmar said, quote, "We remain committed and focused on delivering a remarkable game for our players to enjoy." Beyond Good and Evil 2 originally began in early development in 2007 with series creator and Rayman mastermind Michel Ancel on board alongside alongside the majority of the Montpellier team behind the first Beyond Good and Evil game. Development was put on the back burner while Ancel's team worked on other projects, but Ubisoft re-announced the game with fanfare in 2017 and showed off an in-engine concept featuring spaceflight and designs that featured multiple solar systems and planets, and honestly, the whole thing looked pretty cool. Again, however, development struggled, and the project was further impacted by Ancel's departure from Ubisoft and the sad death of its subsequent creative lead, Emile Morel. But the last couple of years have seen work coalesce once more, with the sequel's characters given intriguing cameos in the new Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition, and the hiring of Mesmar as creative director to hopefully steady the ship. That said, 20 years on from the original, there remains no word on when we'll actually get to play this follow-up, so hopefully we get news sooner than later. That is your daily fix for Friday, January 30th. Right now at Humble, you can get Humble Choice for just $14.99 and score a curated bundle of PC games for January that includes Sonic Frontiers, Tomb Raider 4 through 6 Remastered, Hunt Showdown 1896, Etrian Odyssey 2 HD, Nice Day for Fishing, Metal Slug Tactics, Settlement Survival, and Wizard of Legend 2. This month's choice is available through February 3rd, so head over to humblebundle.com and start playing today. Again, that's February 3rd. That's coming up faster than you might realize. I am Max Scoville, and for all of your video game news, stay tuned to IGN, but more importantly, have a great weekend. Go play some video games, everybody.